Hey guys, this is Liv with Live Life Outdoors. I am in South Central Pennsylvania in Zone 6A, 6B, and today I'm getting more of the garden cleaned up, not all of it. But this was one of my biggest areas. So in front of me, I've got some squash and pumpkin plants that I need to sort through. I've got two summer squash back here that need to go out. And then behind me, I've got some of the leftover cucumber stuff. I'm still on the struggle bus with this whole tripod thing. Haven't ordered one, so I'm gonna make this just kind of like a garden chat while I do this. And hopefully you get some inspiration, encouragement to get out there and work on your garden spaces. So I'm getting this stuff cleaned out, one, because I believe some of it has mosaic virus, which is possible for the cucumbers. I think I really got everything out so far that does actually have the mosaic virus, but the cucumbers were weird because there were no signs of squash bugs or vine borer damage. So two different things there. The summer squash absolutely have signs of vine borer damage, so now I do officially have those. So I'll show you that when I pull those out. But we are getting ready for the fall garden. For some, that may seem rather early, but I only have probably at this point 70 days or so left in my growing season. So that means I would want to be starting my things that take longer inside to be moved out later. So like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, stuff like that. The things that they don't do very well in the heat, but they do need a head start because, again, I only have about 70 days left in my cycle. So we want to make sure that we get those out in time to actually get something from them before the first frost. So I don't know if I'm going to do I might do broccoli. I don't think I'm going to do the Brussels sprouts again because, like I said, that was just kind of an experiment. That I thought it sounded fun and wanted to try, but we don't really eat those things. So I think I'm going to skip on that. What I can start growing right now though is going to be the root veggies, so stuff like radishes, turnips, beets. I can succession sow those up until until it freezes. So I can get multiple rounds of that. I don't need 40 radishes at one time, right? So I can do a row of 10 one week, a row of 10 another week, and then just continue that. Especially because some radishes take only as long as about like 24 days before they're ready. We got some weird looking things down here. Okay. So this is one of the cucumbers that didn't make it, but there's a bunch of seeds there. So I might get some cucumbers that reseed themselves next season. And then we're also going to be doing leafy greens, so lettuces and spinach. The leafy greens, that's one of my favorite things to just like snack on fresh from the garden. Spinach, I like to mix that in with my salad. So we'll be doing that. And also, I've been considering taking the mulch off of my garden bed, so I have straw down for mulch, and doing a living mulch. And the reason for that is this is prime real estate for all the bugs. So yes, it protects my soil from becoming hydrophobic, and it protects it from weeds taking place, but it's also where the bugs like to hang out, especially when it's rained and it's all damp. So the earwigs, the slugs. So I'm trying to rethink the garden scenario, and I think it's going to be entirely different for the next season. So that's something that I'm considering. Also, I think that may just be a good idea. I'm a little bit sad about it, but the straw in the areas where I believe that I have mosaic virus, that needs to go, because that could be housing the mosaic virus as well. So that's going to come out in certain areas for sure. And I want to just make sure that I'm getting every little piece of stuff here. And I did have a living mulch in my garden the first season, so I think that that's what I'm gonna just try to stick with. I don't know what to do about my plants, or not my plants, my garden beds during the winter, because I do want to protect them when it's, you know, just there's nothing on the soil. So some thoughts are gonna go into that. And let's get the zucchini out of here. Alright, that was an easy pull. So you can see squash vine borer damage there. I was reading up on that yesterday. I forgot that I have an insects book. There were a couple different methods. One of them was injecting, I want to say BT, I can't remember, injecting something directly into the vine. It's a organic bug book, so it was all organic methods. So I want to read more into that. Oh, I see some squash bugs in here. They're going for a ride. Alright. Definitely squash bugs on the south side now. Alright, so we want to make sure that we take any stuff that's got pests, like they're pest ridden or disease ridden. We need to dispose of it. That does not go in our compost pile, doesn't go in our burn pile. Just get it completely off the property. So that's why I've got the black trash bags. And we're going to keep working our way through here. I'm not sure what I'm planting in these spaces yet. Back here, I might do my leafy greens because they've got a lot of shade. And I think the root veggies will do just fine out in the open on the other side. Now this is, you may have seen this in another video, I have a very healthy volunteer tomato plant here. However, it's not one that I like. I already knew from the leaves what it was because they're kind of a specific shape, pattern, and size. But for those of you who are not familiar, they're these teeny tiny spoon tomatoes. I absolutely abhor them. So I was super excited to try them. I think that was 2 seasons ago. The tomatoes are so tiny that like in a tomato chain, the top turns before the bottom, right? Well, they're so tiny that you can't just pick the ones that are ready. So you end up with half of them rotting and half of them ready, or half of them ready and half of them not even fully developed. And they're very prolific. Like, they're putting off not hundreds of tomatoes, they're putting off thousands of tomatoes. So that's not my cup of tea. If that's your thing, that's awesome, but it's gotta go. And then, I don't know if you can see back here, I think you can. We've got this zucchini plant here. I didn't see any signs of vine borer damage. When I checked it the other day, it's not producing, so I'm just gonna pull it out. And if you're not familiar, make sure you're wearing gloves for this stuff. The stems are spiky and they're just not fun. Also, great example of powdery mildew. You can be treating that with a milk and water spray. I believe there's a few other methods, and just keeping the leaves trimmed for airflow. So I do see vine borer damage on this one. It was just harder to see all the way tucked in, and I see some entry points. So we're gonna get this one in this bag as well. And now guys, I have half a walkway. So that was one of my main concerns, is I did not have access to my walkway down here in the middle. So so I've not been taking care of things as well as I should have, because I am deathly allergic to bees per venom testing. So I try not to come out here if I don't have a clear walkway during the middle of the day when everything's out and buzzing around. So that leaves me limited time to get out here to do stuff. So that would be in the morning when the bees aren't very active, and then in the evening when the sun has gone down. So taking a little bit of a chance. They are active right now, but they don't seem to be in this specific area. So I got lucky. And then I need to trim back the salvia that's down this row, and I'll show you once I get this through my bag here. I put it in the garden beds every season to attract the bees, but it's just attracted them a little too well. Alright, see, we got some bug foes there. Alright, so getting this nice and tucked in here. Our trash goes out today, so it's Sunday, or well, it goes out in the morning. So this will get tied up nice and tight, put it in the trash can, and that way I'm getting bugs out of the garden. And there's some squash bug eggs there. So you can see if you just put those in a compost pile, like say that was a healthy leaf, you could put that in a compost pile, but then you're just inviting those squash bugs to, you know, grow in that compost pile and then move to the rest of your garden. So that's why you don't want to keep them in there. Alright, that was pretty decent. So I'm going to take these off because they've been touching all kinds of plants that I'm not necessarily sure what's going on with. I don't want to touch healthy plants with them. And actually, before I go touch anything else, I'm going to tie up this trash bag, wash my hands, and then come back here. Alright, so I had you guys upside down and I had to reorient. So I've got this space cleared now. We got our beans doing pretty well in the back. We have our walkway, so now I can walk through here. And we've got a clear space there. We have a squash bug that I just squashed. Okay. And this is my problem right here. So it's attracting bees, which is its job. That's fabulous. But it means it's attracting bees right into the walkway so that I can't come out here and get things done. So for this one, looks like I can probably just go ahead and tie it up to the cattle panel. And then I think I'm going to trim this one and probably try to tie that one up. It doesn't look like they have bees in them right now, so I think I'm going to go ahead, go inside, get my string to do so, and then that means I can finally start harvesting things out here. I see, you guys, I don't even know what this pepper plant is. I'm wondering if these are the pimentos, because it looks so stinking weird. Like, look at this. They look like tomatoes. They totally look like tomatoes on a pepper plant. That is so strange. Alright, we see that the earwigs enjoyed that one. Yeah, those must be the pimentos. Those turn red. Then we have the fish peppers here. These are spicy. So, pretty variegated leaves. But yeah, I'm working on it, getting this so that I can actually get into the rows. And then after that, I think I'll try and get a garden tour done for you guys. Alright, so I will see you in the next one. Hopefully that's a garden tour, and if so, I'll pop it up on top. If not, I'll pop something else up for you to watch.